Hi, this is Chris Davis of SlashGear, and this is the Porsche Design P9981. Now, it's a limited edition BlackBerry phone. It's intended for people who not only love their BlackBerries, love RIM, but also have an awful lot of money to spend on a limited edition car-branded device. This actual phone in the US costs around $2,350, so it's not a cheap device. And to kind of justify that, Porsche Design have thrown some serious styling effort at it. Now, it's a love it or hate it design, but you can't really argue with the build quality for the most part. So you get a stainless steel chassis, which is a mirror effect around the outside and brushed up here at the top, where you get the Porsche Design logo. There's also a brand new keyboard layout, so it gets rid of BlackBerry's normal bowed keyboard layout of the BlackBerry Bold 9900, which is the device that this is actually based upon, and you get instead these kind of very distinctive keys with a set of touch-sensitive scrolling buttons and the usual BlackBerry keys in between. Up here, 2.8-inch wide VGA touchscreen, which, because it's a reasonably small panel, you get a very high pixel dense display, and it's reasonably responsive as well. Though you can also navigate it via this touchpad here. It's an LCD panel, so the viewing angles aren't, say, as good as you would get with an AMOLED panel on a Samsung device, for instance, but it's still not bad, certainly very much usable. On the back, this rear panel feels like textured plastic, but actually it's got a thin cover of leather over it. Our only kind of complaint is that it's also a bit wobbly. I don't know if you can see that, but it comes off very easily. And even when it is attached, it rattles about like anything. Something else carried over from the 9900 is the camera. So you get a 5 megapixel fixed focus camera with a single LED flash, and that'll shoot 720p video. There's a shortcut button for the camera on the side, which it can be reprogrammed to launch other applications. You also get volume controls, and that's a mute button, which play and pause control in the media player, and the usual BlackBerry lock button here on the top. And it comes with this charging desk stand, which automatically kicks it into clock mode, and that's a useful thing indeed, because the battery in here is the same size as the battery that RIM included in the 9900, and even though here in this case it's a Porsche Designer branded version, it generally will last for less than a day if you're making serious use of the phone. And that's because while it runs BlackBerry 7, which is the company's latest commercial OS, we're still waiting for BlackBerry 10 later on in the year, it's running a 1.2 gigahertz processor inside. It's got 768 megabytes of RAM, and when you're actually pushing the smartphone reasonably quickly, say using the camera or the browser or making calls, it does tend to take out the charge really, really quickly. If you're just leaving it, picking up email, for instance, you can eke out a full day, certainly getting into 2 full days. But if you're actually making use of the phone, like perhaps you could argue it was designed for, you're not going to see that kind of runtime. So what else do you get for your money? Well, you get Wi-Fi ABGN with 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz support in certain bands. You get NFC for any kind of applications that use it. You get access, of course, to the BlackBerry app market, which, despite the 1.2 gigahertz processor, it's surprisingly sluggish on this phone. You get the usual email support and enterprise support, which is obviously very strong on a BlackBerry device, but you do get this sort of less than appealing icon reskin, which Porsche Design are responsible for, and that does have the unfortunate effect of making a lot of the icons quite similar when you look at them. So glanceability is low, and it can be pretty tricky sometimes to figure out which app you're loading, certainly if you're trying to use the phone one-handed while walking. The keyboard is a solid one for typing. I mean, it's kind of BlackBerry's normal standard, though obviously it's not quite as useful as the well laid out, I should say, as the 9900 keyboard. All in all, this is a very distinctive phone, kind of love it or hate it design. It looks kind of, to my eyes, like it's got very large shoulder pads, like a a bit character in Dynasty from the 80s, but we won't hold that against it. And obviously the price will be the biggest stumbling block together with BlackBerry 7. It's on sale now. Very few people will buy it, and at least you'll have the knowledge that if you're one of those who plunks down $2,350, that you're unlikely to run into anyone else with the same device. Thanks for watching. On your phone, on your tablet, and at SlashGear.com.